Hi, I'm Damian Greentree, and here are a couple terms that describe myself. I tend to be strict sometimes, which I'm not too happy about. I'm a best friend. I consider myself open minded. I'm stressed out a lot, got a lot going on, pretty emotional. Um, Still wondering if I belong and if I'm where I'm supposed to be. And best of all, I'm a family man. Starting out, I didn't know where I was supposed to be, so I was the kid in the corner. Hey, do I belong? Do I need to belong? I felt that I did because everybody was doing cool things and I wasn't. So, going through school, I changed my outfits and appearances probably 5 times a week just to see where I could be and to figure out where I wanted to fit in. That worked for a little bit, and then people kind of thought I was a little weird because one day I was country, next day I was rocker, next day I was preppy. So right now in life, I'm a family man. I work 2 jobs, going to school. So right now I don't really need to belong anywhere but there for my family. But that was me growing up, and I'm not real sure if I found out yet where I need to belong, but I feel like I'm in the right spot for now. Uh, Sometimes I get a little defensive. I'm not a big person, but that's a pretty good example of defensiveness. Is if someone were to be criticized or made fun of the way they are, then their reaction in a negative way is usually what you would get if you have a defensive person. So criticism, I look at criticism as a two-way street. Sometimes you can give criticism to yourself, and other times people can give you criticism, and you may take it fine just then and there, but at the end of the day, it kind of goes with you, and you think about, man, was I really doing wrong to be criticized for this? Do I need to change myself? Is something's not right? So criticism is kind of something that sticks around. Peers. Peer pressure is one thing, peers are another thing. It's not always a bad thing. It just kind of depends on what your peers, your people that you're around, are doing and how they act and how you want to be. If you want to follow in bad footsteps or follow successful footsteps, and basically your peers are just where you need to be. Um, it's who you choose to be with that's going to better your life or make it worse, and it's your decision to stick around those who are going to have a negative or positive impact on you. Closed-minded people kind of think that that's where things go wrong when you have a conversation, is when you're trying to tell somebody something and they have no idea um, besides their own. So if I were to talk to somebody and they were to talk about politics, I have no knowledge in politics, so I would say I'm pretty closed-minded about the issue because whatever I hear from other people is pretty much what I'm going to go with, and I have no thoughts about it on my own. It's not the best thing to be closed minded because you need to be open minded for room to reflect. Like I said, I kind of just go along with what everybody else is going on as far as politics goes. So, yeah, I'm a closed minded person for the most part, but I'm very open minded when it comes to new ideas, um, what's for dinner, things like that. Truth bias. Now, I used Maury here because he's the only one that says, hey, you are the father, you're not the father, whether someone's lying or what they are lying. But it's not up to reports when it comes to conversation to know if someone's lying or not. We kind of just want to be there to believe them, even if the story doesn't sound believable, because that's just the way humans were wired. Um, I like to see it as if I feel I'm being lied to, then I'm going to put up a red flag, but I'm just gonna avoid the confrontation by just saying, okay, and going along with whatever's being said, because I'd like to believe it, and I would hope to know that whoever's talking to me is not purposely lying to me. You know, it's not something where, hey, did you do your homework tonight? No, yeah, because then I know that they're lying. But if somebody comes up to me and is like, oh, I did all this homework tonight and this and that, and they're telling a lie, I don't want to dig deeper to see if that's really how the truth or not. I'm not like, oh, well, how many papers did you do? When was it due? This and that. So, I believe truth bias is just, we want to believe that we're you know, being honest to. We don't want people lying to us, and I would hope that we wouldn't lie to others. I know I don't. So I would really like to know that who I'm talking to is being truthful and not purposely trying to lie to me. Friendship has a lifespan, and I believe that that is true. Um, Photos here looks like girls are fighting. I've had a few friends that I've had for little time that I thought was going to be a long relationship, and I've got friends now that I'm kind of losing that I really thought were going to be a long relationship. 25 years ago, I moved by a neighbor, and we were close all the way up until high school. And once we started growing up and going our own ways, we've really just lost touch and everything. I don't want to say that our friendship's over because we haven't had any arguments or confrontations or anything that would jeopardize that. But I do believe that we are coming apart to where we definitely don't share the same interests anymore. And not saying that our friendship is over, but I think it's coming closer to an end just for the fact that we don't really communicate anymore, which is not good because, best friends for life is supposed to be a real thing. So I'm not sure if it's kind of family and jobs and school kind of taking over time to where a lot of my good friends are just not really not wanting to be my friend, but we just don't have the time we used to, so we can't make friendships seem the way they used to be anymore. Not really sure, but I am definitely on board with the friendship that has a lifespan. I think that's a true statement, and that's just, I guess, that's just the way of life. Personal distance. I know this is pretty tight quarters, but with being a family man, you kind of have to really get with your personal distance and comfort zone. um, I'm not quite sure about all those kids, but I do have three of my own, and personal space and distance is definitely important. So um, I kind of use this photo just because the personal space is occupied, but there's not really a problem or a in comfort, if you will. And that's about how I am. I'm, real close to my family and friends. Not so much a social person, so I do like my space there. Um, and I'd like to say that my personal distance is probably a little less than a foot and a half. I like to be lovey-dovey and stuff like that. So moods, oh man, moods are just crazy. There's so many different kinds of moods. I don't even know where to begin. Relaxed would be a great mood to be in right now, but that's just not the case. Um, there's just so many different kinds of moods you can be in. I only have five here because I really like this picture. But bored is usually not one of them with my lifestyle these days. Three kids and going to class, and I really don't have time to be bored. And if I do, then I really need to find some way of fixing that. Happiness is it's definitely up there. I just got married in September, so that's definitely going. Sadness, I'm not really haven't really experienced any sadness lately. It's just, I guess, a day by day basis on the anger. Just kind of getting stressed out with work and school and everything, kind of running into each other. So, not really angry, but it's harder to stay stress free when all this is going on. So, I'm really hoping that after all the end of the day, when schooling's over and everything, that happiness is really what happens. One up message. Sometimes I really don't like my one up message because it seems like it's the strict coming out when I tell the kids to do something or when I tell the wife to turn down the TV. I'd like to work on that a little bit because sometimes stern and strict is not always a good communication skill if you don't want a negative reaction. That's for sure. If I tell kids to go to the room and get argument, that's not good. If they're doing something that I don't agree with and they know they shouldn't do, maybe by asking them if they want to go to the room, that could change their mind and maybe they could straighten up before actually having to be yelled at to say, hey, go to your room. Because I don't like doing that and I know the kids don't like hearing it, but sometimes you just have to do it. So, one up message I think is important, especially when you want to make decisions. I saw in the textbook that um, like dinner. Dinner is a really good one up message because you don't want to go on for 20 minutes trying to figure it out. You just say, hey, this is what we're having for dinner. That's my take on one up message. And the strictness and go to your room should be worked on a little bit, but sometimes to know that you're really meaning what you're saying, a one up message is important. Separate emotions from actions. Yeah, this is a big one. Um, I'm not too proud of it, but I do have a hole in the wall that probably shouldn't have happened. Actually, it shouldn't have happened, and I do say regretfully it happened in front of the oldest child. So in a way, I didn't really expect that or want that to happen, but I'm kind of glad it did because it made me think like, man, this is really not what should the kids should be seeing. And also the kids noticed that, hey, this is not cool. This is not how we want to be. And I know as a parent, I'm supposed to set examples. So hopefully by showing slight discrepancies and good examples, that maybe they'll take that to heart and actually, instead of following those footsteps, take it as um, a bad thing to follow. Punching holes in the walls and showing anger through physical actions is just not good. It's something we probably all struggle with, and as much as I hate to say it, I need to struggle with it myself. And it's not only physical actions, but as far as coming up later, nonverbal communication, getting an attitude, frowning, just not good. So if certain times come to where you need to be there for your kids, it's probably not best to show that you're upset or angry or sad, just to keep them in where they need to be. You don't need to get the kids upset or sad, so just keep the emotions away from, or keep the actions separate from emotions, and that should be something I definitely want to focus on working on. Like I said, nonverbal communication, that's a big one. We can tell in this picture that this guy's sad. He doesn't have to say a word. Sometimes it's not always a good thing. You don't have to shout and scream when you're excited. You can get a big smile or jump up and down with joy. Nonverbal communication goes quite a ways, and a lot of times it's a pretty good way of telling how somebody's feeling. Um, Even if I just want a couple things done, if I want if I have a hand gesture like to or stop, put my hand out, I want you to stop. I don't have to scream stop or anything. I can just say, hey, stop. That's nonverbal communication, and it goes many ways. Even the clothes you wear can be a nonverbal communication. So I hope you got a little bit out of that. Kind of just went back from where we began. Maybe we can reflect on the strictness and being a best friend, maybe trying to work on that a little bit better, because I know that that friendship I mentioned earlier should still be intact, and I really think that the threads are coming loose. So I'd like to get that mended back together. Just stay open-minded. Really try to keep the emotions separated from actions, and I guess that's pretty much it. Have a good one.